Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Order 1886. And yeah, Santa Monica.
This one was a long time coming.
Well,
Santa Monica and nobody else.
Actually, no. Santa Monica helped out with the development, but the actual creators of this IP are Ready at Dawn. Who are Ready at Dawn? You probably know them better as the developers of the PSP God of War games. They also made the Daxter PSP game. Basically, they were doing quite a lot of few things for Sony on the PSP era, and when it came time for the PS4, this was their big break, like an attempt for them to create a super duper awesome AAA IP for the PlayStation 4. So this was going to be their magnum opus.
It's like showcase during the PS4 initial presentation.
However, much like Heavenly Sword, it didn't really pan out that way. This game didn't even get a movie. So
let me put it like this. At best, reception was mixed. At worst, this game got absolutely trampled by players of the game.
The first thing you might notice is how the game, what you're seeing of the game gets a bit squashed between a pair of black bars.
That's because they want to have a cinematic look.
The first Evil Within also suffered from this.
Okay, look, for as much as we raked Heavenly Sword over the coals, I will give that game credit. It had great production values by the time it was made. This one, nope, these cutscenes look bad. The coloring already is not good.
I mean, a lot of people say...
Notice how the camera's jittering like this? Get used to shots like this.
Yeah, this game did get a lot of compliments for its visuals, and I don't really see it. I mean, the models, don't get me wrong, the texture quality looks fine. It's just that I cannot stand the art direction of this game because everything looks so blurry and dark and like even when you're outdoors, it doesn't get much better because it's constantly dark and cloudy. Like, is this how it is in London? Like, there's no sunlight in London? Like
this is like the ugly inbreed child between Bloodborne and Fable that nobody wanted to see.
Yeah.
Okay, in regards to why this game may have gotten praise for its visuals initially, I can think of a few reasons. One, the visuals were probably the best thing this game had going for it, and
remember,
that is not
launch
a compliment.
title for the PS4, which meant
that in the concept
from what happened in the PS3.
And secondly, it did show the fidelity of the system. That being said, like Heavenly Sword, a lot of that stuff has aged badly, and people don't really praise it for its visuals these days. And I'll be honest, even when it first came about, I wasn't impressed.
Also, speaking of which, Jova, we started in medias res, which means we have to get to this point.
Yeah.
Okay, so for those of you, if any of you heard about a game that was basically a movie masquerading as a game around the time of the PS4 start, this was probably that game you heard about because, oh boy, this game is infamous for definitely acting more like a movie than a game. And even when you're playing the game, at its best, it'll feel automated. At its worst, it is rife with cheap difficulty that will make you frustrated beyond belief.
Is it at least a good movie?
No.
You'll be the judge of that.
The story is not good.
Alright, like a lot of people said in their reviews, one of the most frustrating things... also, by the way, Ready at Dawn... can't you make the subtitles a bit more bigger?
This was the years before they started caring.
Seriously, look at those subtitles. Those subtitles are fucking minuscule.
Okay.
Like,
you would think they would take advantage of black bars to put them there so they also are readable, but no.
Okay. Keep in mind, it might be easier to see it looking right at your computer screen, but imagine playing this on a flat screen TV, which would probably be
I'm playing the game
a ways away from you. These subtitles would be a pain.
I'm playing the game and recording it on my PS5, and I'm playing it on my 4K TV. And when you're watching this on the big screen, those tiny ass subtitles are like.
I guess they didn't want the subtitles to block out the wonderful visuals that we're looking
In that case, do what Theo says. Put them in the black bars. Anyway, okay. So one of the
I'm in there too.
Yeah, one of the most frustrating things people usually bring up about this game is the wasted potential of the concept. Because, like, here's the basic idea: the Order 1886 takes place in the 1800s, obviously, and we're playing as Sir Galahad. Who is Sir Galahad? He's a knight from an order, an order of werewolf hunters, and they've been around since the times of King Arthur. Because they have a magical potion that keeps them alive and gives them eternal health that will never be explained.
And each of them assumes the identity of one of the Knights of the Round Table.
Yeah, so
Think
basically...
about it being kind of a bit like that motif with Kingsman.
Yeah, so basically think of this as like Knights of the Round Table in the 1800s hunting werewolves. Like, that sounds like a cool concept for a video game. Problem is, the gameplay is just a generic by-the-numbers cover-based shooter. It's not even a good cover-based shooter. And like Joe Ventura said, the plot is so boring and the characters so bland that it's just like, whatever.
Well, okay.
I found it
without
just hilarious,
spoiling-
but just a few years after this, From Software will literally school spank on the ass this game by showing how
hold on, guys.
Victorian-style fantasy, dark fantasy is done.
Here's some gameplay. Look how awesome I can hold the triangle button. That's when you know it's good gameplay.
Yep.
Just like David Cage wanted.
Look, don't get me wrong. I am not one to think that QuickTime events are inherently bad in a game, but I feel like they're best done when they're done in motions that flow with the game. Holding triangle as your first thing kind of feels.
Like, if anything,
lame.
this kind of quick event should be push the analog stick in the direction that the camera is pointing at.
Basically, this is actually part of a specific cycle that PlayStation usually has regarding studios they work with. After making the first Infamous, Sony bought Sucker Punch in 2011. I have suspicions that after working with this studio for years, if The Order had turned out to be a good game and a successful one, they probably would have bought Ready at Dawn as well, and Ready at Dawn would have become a proper PlayStation game. Because remember, at this point in time, Ready at Dawn had been working with Sony for quite a few years at this point.
And as we got to know from Life Using Time, apparently Dexter is the most highest grossing first party game on the PSP.
Not to mention, and remember, this cycle continues to this day, because remember what was happening with Housemarque. Housemarque developed Super Stardust HD for the PS3, as well as Resogun for the PS4, and with the PS5, they had their first major big break with a AAA IP with Returnal, and since Returnal is actually awesome, Sony decided to buy them and have them make more games for them, which again, this is a typical cycle where usually when Sony has a good relationship with a studio, they'll just tie the knot and become a first party. So this is something they've been doing since the beginning.
Yes, Order 1886. I did play LA Noire.
If anything, as per tradition with shooters, the starting revolver fucking sucks, but it's a necessity at the beginning.
Oh, so yeah, I don't have any evidence for what I'm saying, but I genuinely get the feeling that if this game had succeeded, Ready at Dawn probably would have become a first-party PlayStation studio, but that wasn't the case because, yeah, this was their first major chance to prove themselves as one of the big boys, and they didn't really succeed. So, yeah.
Going off of your theory, I do get the feeling that they planned for this to be a franchise because without spoiling...
Oh, trust me, Jova, they definitely did. You'll see.
Without spoiling, audience, the plot of this game definitely feels like more so set up for a much better game than what we actually have to deal with the plot here. But hey, you don't have to take our word for it. When the plot actually gets started, you can see for yourselves.
Speaking of which, this escape is taking its sweetest time.
Alright, Dwibs.
I get it. They want to show how rough and tough things are, but nah, this just feels like it's dragging in pace.
Dwibs, since this is an all-British cast game, because you all takes place in London, see if you can find out who plays Sir Galahad.
Our protagonist.
Yeah.
Without looking it up.
Well, I mean, there are some non-British VAs in the game.
Oh, there are. Okay. Well, they all sound pretty much British from what I've heard so far.
To be fair, people who aren't British can put on... Yeah, okay, to be fair, just because you're not British doesn't mean you can't put on a good British accent.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it looks like something's going amiss.
Oh, you got a license to transform into a light.
I was gonna say, I haven't really heard many.
Well, that's how about Christopher Miller?
I didn't. I said many. I said
Okay,
I haven't heard many. I didn't say I
All
haven't
right.
heard any.
Well, I'm trying to think of one.
So Galahad is voiced by an actor named Steve West, who was born in the British town of let me see. I can't find where he was born actually, although apparently he's American.
Oh, yes. Huh.
He's gone on to, at least in terms of voice acting, be a additional voice in Tactics Ogre Reborn,
Oh.
and be Cyrus Albright in the first Octopath Traveler.
So yeah, Sir Galahad was imprisoned for some reason that we have yet to learn about, and he's trying to escape.
Get out.
I take that back. He was actually born in London.
Wait,
So-
so, he
so-
was
so-
an American
so
who
yeah.
was born in London?
Well, so,
No, actually, no, I apologise.
well, so at the very least, they did get at the very least a Londoner to play the main character. That's a problem.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's actually born in London.
because this entire game takes place in London, so if anything, that makes sense.
Also, Hans, what are you doing here?
He also played Mobo Priest in Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh boy. Anyway, all right.
Whoa.
So let's see if Galahad can leave the place.
By taking Hans hostage.
He does look like Hans.
It's the classic mutton chop haircut
Yeah.
combo.
This is a very this is a very common
Yeah.
look, Jova. What the fuck?
There goes your human shield.
Well, it's a good thing. Well, it's a good thing for Galahad that the London guards are fucking idiots. Why did they shoot their own their own
Okay.
colleague?
To be fair, they do yell that they have orders to shoot him on sight.
Yeah, fortunately,
So
since
it was blank.
well, remember,
Him on fight, not their own mate.
well, we did know. Well, we did
Yeah.
know that to be fair. So, all right. So sometimes the game will slow down and just move the analog stick to where the square is and press square.
I wish it was only sometimes.
Yeah, when you're not doing cover-based shooting, which is basic as fuck cover-based shooting, you're just doing QTEs for the most part, basically.
I played pretty much all of the God of War games, or well, at least most of them. So I'm actually
Yeah, but here's the thing. Yeah, but
as well as rather than QTEs. So trust me when I say it. When I try to actually critique their presence, I usually tend to have good reasons.
well, see, here's the thing. God of War, aside from the QTEs, also had hack and slash and puzzles. You know, like so those games actually had more to them. It was not like it was just
Well, even
nothing.
something like Azura's Wrath, who prides itself to have mostly composed by QTEs.
I'm kind of gonna side with Tio on this. While QTEs definitely can be a stigma, even if a game is mainly focused on them, that does not inherently make it a bad bout.
Oh, sure.
Just because
No,
this game
here's the
uses
thing.
them so badly.
Yeah. Here's the thing. The trick is to make the QTEs actually feel just as fun, or at least make them feel as good and close to the action.
I'll argue.
While again, not impeding on the fun factor of
Yeah.
the game,
I'll argue Marvel Spider-Man does a good job at that.
as does the Arkham Batman games.
Well, yeah, that was one of the big
So yeah,
inspirations.
Oh.
this basically is to showcase a couple of the characters we will meet along the way.
Surrender, Galahad. You are surrounded.
Well, 30 seconds to comply.
I wish it had 2 divers in this game.
So yeah, apparently Galahad betrayed the order.
Get no chance.
Hold on.
I'm as good as dead already.
Bye.
Hey Teo.
Yes,
hey,
I saw the fugitive.
hey Teo, it's like what also reminds me of too, the final episode of the Latent Anime as well.
What you were going to say, MGS3?
Well, that too, but like okay. So
How did we got here?
so how did Galahad get into the mess in the first place? Let's go back to the beginning of the story.
Oh boy.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome
Should
to
I tell you
London.
that the context
Oh
behind
my! By the way, did you notice how there's actual sunlight that you can see through the clouds for a bit there?
Orally, it's very dim.
Yeah, trust me, Teo. Trust me, Teo. That's the best you're gonna get in terms of sunlight, because every single time we're outdoors, aside from this opening scene, it's constantly dark and super cloudy. It's like in London, there's no such thing as sunlight.
Now, I would say one thing. I kind of like the default costume of the Order, as in also our character. Like, it gives
Yeah,
a definitely
that's
kind
fine.
of unique look.
Yeah,
and
steampunk.
I wouldn't have minded Galahad showing up in a
Yeah,
funny crossover.
that's one of the main reasons why the game's small fan base still really wishes they could expand upon this, because remember, it's a steampunk London of immortal Knights of the Round Table hunting down werewolves. That sounds like a really awesome concept for a video game, doesn't it? Too bad they waste the fuck out of it.
Yes,
Here's the
Joe?
main issue with this game. You can definitely tell what they prioritized, and that's pretty much anything for the cinematic experience. You may notice how you can even admire the full renders of the weapons, turning it over in your hands.
Yeah.
Which is a neat detail. The problem is, it does not have keen and good gameplay to get into. We've already talked about how the QTs are not really that good or intuitive.
Hold on,
Like,
Joe, let
they
me-
don't even really float the action well. But how about the actual cover-based shooting, Pedro?
That's the thing, Jova. Now, we're not there yet. First, this is another, I guess, gameplay style of this game. Parts where you're just slowly walking to the next spot. And I'm not kidding. And before you ask, no, you cannot. You have a run button, but during these bits, you cannot run. You have to slowly walk. And during these bits, you can check any collectibles for some minor world building. But like Dark Lord Shadow once said in his review, the collectibles have usually very useless information that doesn't really have anything to do with anything. So you're basically just
By the way-
walking to the next destination.
And by the way, Jill wasn't kidding about how dark this game can be. Like, you think the outside can be dark? Sometimes the interiors feel like
Yeah.
I need to adjust the TV
Oh,
settings.
here's the thing. See, here's the thing, Jova. I'm playing this game on my PS5 on my 4K TV with HDR. For those who don't play games with HDR, HDR is a way to make the colors on the game look more akin to real-life colors. As a result, things get the whatever's bright is brighter, and whatever's darker is usually darker than usual, right? Than what you see in usual games when you're not playing with HDR. So when you're in a very dark place with no lights, yeah, it's even darker. It's incredibly dark and very hard to see. And again, keep in mind, everybody, I'm playing God of War Ragnarok with HDR, and that game runs just fine. So this is just more, the art direction is so overly dark. Go on.
Mind you, as I mentioned, Bloodborne still has the kind
Yeah.
of same dark aesthetics, but it manages to work out thanks also to the
Hold on
balance of
to
colors.
mysterious disappearances in Whitechapel. So there's
And
mysterious.
yes, they
there's
did print an entire newspaper front for this.
yeah, you can read the entire newspaper. The Morning Post, is that an actual newspaper, Dibs? Morning Post. Oh, okay. Okay. Considering this is the 18th century, the 19th century, probably not.
Maybe it is. Remember, Pedro, the printing press was basically invented at the end
No, I
of
mean,
the
no, I get that.
century.
No, I get that, Teo. But probably that newspaper probably has already changed name since then. That's what I mean.
Oh,
Okay,
sure,
let
sure,
me
sure.
check. No, the Morning Post is, it
Oh,
might still be a thing, actually.
is somebody gonna put this painting back in the wall? I guess not. Moving on.
Okay. So the Morning Post was a thing, according to wikidate.org, it was a thing from 1772 to
Yeah.
1937.
Notice that photo. That photo has nothing to do with anything. I don't even know why that is. It says like a Wellington, I think. Wellington. Wyman.
Actually, to Pedro, there is a purpose.
Oh, is there? Go on.
To show that families existed in 1886.
Surely you're
Okay, good.
jesting.
Okay, so Dribs, was I right that the Morning Post used to be a thing, but, ended in 1937?
Let me check. The Morning Post.
Yeah,
news.
we were checking a newspaper called the Morning Post, and it said that there's mysterious disappearances in Whitechapel.
Yes, the Morning Post was a newspaper in London, and yeah, I'm looking up Wikipedia here. It ran from 1772, and it ran up till 1937 when the Daily Telegraph bought it.
Ah, okay. All right.
so-
You'll occasionally found phonograph cylinders. What are these? They're basically audio logs. So let's
maybe
listen.
The audio logs can be good?
Well, let's see. La Mort d'Arthur, aka the Death of Arthur.
Pendragon, when he was king of all England, and so reigned, that there was a mighty duke in Cornwall that held war against him long time. And the duke was called the Duke of Tintagel. And so by means King Uther sent for this duke, charging him to bring
For those who don't know, King Uther is Arthur's
Uther
actual
Pendragon,
father.
yes.
Yeah.
And her name was called Igraine. So when the Duke and his wife would come unto the king, by the
All you need to do is put the letter M before E-grade, and you get a lot of people's opinion on the game.
And yes, Igraine is actually one of the knights that is one of our friends, as we're going to meet her later.
But she was a passing good woman, and would not assent unto the king. And then she told the Duke her husband, and said, I suppose that we were sent for that I should be dishonored. Wherefore, husband, I counsel you, that we depart from hence suddenly, that we may ride all night unto our own castle.
Basically, Igraine is the mother of King Arthur.
Indeed. All right.
So,
So,
yeah,
So that,
essentially.
did you get good because it has nothing to do with anything. Like seriously, like aside from.
it's the origin still of the, again, classic Arthurian cycle, so by extension, the origin of the order.
World building?
No, that's the thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I get it. Technically, is Dwips. The thing is, that the whole thing about Igraine being, in Arthur and being loved and all that shit, like it never really comes up in the actual story. So it comes. Okay, I guess you can say, oh, it's just extra lore, I guess, but I don't know.
That mechanic is also used for Easter
Also.
egg.
There you go,
Awesome.
ladies and gentlemen. Physics. Look at that.
Collision physics.
Hooray.
Okay.
Hey, oh great, he's invented football with a frying pan lid.
Okay. Here's my take on the audio log thing. I get it, they wanted to add extra details in the audio logs, but I feel like sort of keeping the origins of the order to the audio logs, which have barely anything to do with the plot, feels like a weird decision
Okay.
to do.
Actually, I need to correct myself. It turns out this guy didn't invent football, as football was actually invented in 1863.
Well, there you go. It's already been invented by this point.
Also, like I said, the mechanic is also used. The mechanic of being an object is also for an Easter egg. I don't know if Pedro actually finds it, but at some point you do find a sack boy.
Yeah, I did.
So in actuality,
I did
this
find it
guy
too.
is like
Okay.
this guy is like a young child who doesn't have a football, so he just uses anything he can find they can find in the house to use as
Yeah, consider this was presented as in the presentation of PS4. It's more likely than not it was used as a text demo.
Take your time, dude. Don't hurry up or anything.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, again, this feels like if Assassin's Creed always forced you to walk.
Oh, it's
slow.
fine.
just
Fine. Just drop. Thank you.
How sad is that this mechanic kind of became not necessarily a cornerstone, but we started to be used for immersion purposes, replacing cutscenes a bit all over the place.
Well, it's usually
I-
better games still usually use this to cover up load times, which I can understand. That's
Yeah.
not the case with this game, though.
And before anyone says, no, I'm not talking specifically like say stuff like God of War, because they don't God of War games, because that applies something similar to the original trilogy of Dead Space.
Yeah.
I mean, the entire game is viewed from almost as in one single take.
Also, okay. Let's see. The Luminous City, a marvelous
Charles
play.
Dickens, A Tale of Two Cities.
Charles
Wow.
Dick. All right, so a Charles Dickens play. Okay.
Does the Ring of Nibelungalien? That's cool, but it takes a while to actually get there.
Yeah, the Rheingold by Richard Wagner, the Golden
It's a great opera.
Yeah.
We could actually make a great video game about it, told me, Pedro.
And there's nothing on the back, so I don't know why the game lets.
dirty.
Okay, thank you. Hey, Sir Galahad. Can you maybe, I don't know, hurry up a bit? Instead of walking at the pace of a fucking turtle.
Commentary. Like, at least Heavy Rain has the courtesy of maybe to peer into the character's thoughts.
Or heck, why not have him comment on
know,
certain things
that's
if you really are into exploring
Okay.
a lot?
Here. Well, there's werewolves to hunt, and they're mauling people and eating people. But I don't feel like hurrying up to my job. I'll just take my sweet time.
Are you ever gonna try this? Hurry the fuck up.
Also, God help you if you accidentally go the wrong way, because then you gotta slowly trudge your way.
Yeah,
back.
that's what I'm showing. Well, remember, one of the big things about these sections that you're encouraged to search every nook and cranny for any collectibles. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing what the game supposedly asks me to
That
do.
walking speed is sure an incentive on that.
Ooh.
Again, I have no problem with searching nook and cranny for collectibles. That's fine. Plenty of games do that. But make it so that the character actually doesn't walk at a snail's fucking pace. Like,
Also, I guess the Order aren't really all about secretive maneuvers because, no, they walk in broad daylight dressed in the armor and gauntlets. I guess no one would find odd.
Just feel free to react as Galahad if you want, okay? Mr. Galahad, we've been waiting for like 10 minutes. What the fuck are you doing?
Don't worry. I'm only like 5-minute walk away, so I'll see you in 25 minutes.
Good Lord, man! For all we know, those railways could be tearing the victim's throats apart.
Dwebs.
I can't walk any faster. Have you seen my shoes?
So Dwebs, is this how Londoners walk to their employment place? Like.
Well, actually, I haven't heard of lateness in London being caused by people lazily walking out. I thought that was more for like being late because the bus was late.
And there you go. There's a grain.
So Dwibs, I'm curious. Were people in London still walking around with armor from the old Arthurian days, just around the street common enough that nobody raises an eyebrow at them?
Well, I haven't seen any.
Is that like the stereotype that people thought that during World War II, people under the bombardment still were walking in top hats?
Okay, so basically, Igraine is Galahad's pupil, and it's also implied that she has feelings for him, but the game never really goes anywhere with it, so whatever.
Royal Spear Tobacco.
Remember who trained you?
He was the best in his day.
Was.
Oh, witty banter.
But I'm better.
Just like in the Avengers 1998.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, Tail, if you don't like that, then you're fucked, because that's probably some of the weirdest dialogue the game has.
I guess it is okay, I have to assume it is actually an appreciated type of British humor, if it has to be that kind of common.
Oh, hold on.
It is something that
So,
I'm not getting.
Dwebs, do you recognize all? Okay, do you recognize all the flags in here? Hold on, let me see. I will take a bit more time before. Yeah. Oh, don't worry. I'll actually focus on them.
No, I can see them.
Jack, the Whale, the Welsh dragon.
I can see the Union Jack, the Scottish flag.
The Welsh flag, it's right there.
Welsh flag. Is that the White Rose of Yorkshire there?
What does,
apparently,
I guess what does the Northern Ireland flag look like? I actually don't know.
Me neither. There's like a triangle. There's a triangular flag in there that's just black. It's nothing but just a black triangle. Like.
Or maybe it's red.
Is it?
No, very sorry. Dark green, maybe.
The one that's to the left. The one that.
Yeah. Maybe it's dark green. Yeah. Well, I had to agree with Pedro. The lighting doesn't do any favors.
Yeah. No. Trust me. This is how the entire game looks. The game looks so gray and boring and colorless.
Okay. Look, I do get sometimes grayscale can help set the mood for a game here. But when it's not used properly, it just makes, well, anything it's used in look like, muddy, dull, or just
it's like Zack Snyder was asked to make a movie about the Arthurian cycle.
Oh,
yeah.
The game
pros. So, no, that's just me stopping the recording. See, the thing is about this is one of those games this is one of those games that if you go to the PlayStation menu, the game just freezes while you're on the PlayStation menu, basically.
To see, guys. It's just like how the game takes a while to do anything. It takes longer. It takes a while for the part to finish. Longer than it should do.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody. Hopefully, by the time we start next part, Igraine and Galahad would have arrived at the mission objective.
That's the motto.
Hopefully, sometime this year.
Yeah. So we'll see you in 2 weeks then.
See ya.
See ya.